I still remember standing in front of the mirror on my wedding day, my hands gently touching the delicate lace of my white gown. My heart was full of dreams, dreams of a beautiful life, a loving marriage, and two families coming together as one. My name is Sarah, and I was 27 when I married James. He came from a well-known, wealthy family that lived in a big house on the hill. I came from a simple, warm home where love was the only luxury we had. My parents had worked so hard their entire lives. My father as a school teacher, my mother as a nurse. They saved every extra penny just so I could have a decent wedding. That morning, I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. James had promised me that our wedding would be perfect, that both families would be treated with equal respect and love. I believed him with all my heart. The ceremony itself was magical. As I walked down the aisle, James looked at me with tears in his eyes. We exchanged vows under a canopy of flowers, and when he kissed me, the guests cheered loudly. For those few minutes, everything felt like a fairy tale. But what I didn't know was that the real story was only beginning after the I do's. As we entered the grand reception hall, decorated with crystal chandeliers and fresh roses, a strange, uneasy feeling settled in my chest. I smiled and greeted guests, but my eyes kept searching for my parents. They were nowhere near the head table. Finally, I spotted them. They were standing quietly in a corner near the back, almost hidden behind a large decorative plant. My mom was holding her small purse tightly, trying to look composed. My dad stood beside her, his shoulders slightly bent, wearing the same suit he had worn to my college graduation. No chairs, no place cards, no seats reserved for them. Meanwhile, at the beautifully set head table, James' entire family, his parents, 3 siblings, 2 aunts, and an uncle, were comfortably seated and laughing loudly. 9 people from his side had taken every single seat that was supposed to be shared with my family. My heart sank. This wasn't a small mistake. This felt deliberate. I walked over to my parents, forcing a smile so no one would notice my panic. "Mom, Dad, why are you standing here? Come, let's find your seats." My mother gently touched my cheek and whispered, "It's okay, my love. We don't want to create any trouble on your special day." But I could see the pain behind her soft smile, the same eyes that had stayed awake with me through fevers, heartbreaks, and late-night studies. My father just nodded quietly and said, "We're happy just to see you smiling, Princess." That quiet acceptance from them shattered something deep inside me. I found James talking with his mother near the bar. When I pulled him aside and asked why my parents had no seats, he looked slightly annoyed. "Sarah, my family is bigger. They wanted to sit together. Your parents are fine where they are. It's just seating, babe. Don't make a big deal out of it." Just seating? Those words felt like cold water thrown on my face. These were the 2 people who had given up vacations, new clothes, and their own comforts for years, so I could stand here in this expensive dress. And on the most important day of my life, they were being treated like they didn't belong. As the evening continued, the humiliation grew worse. James's mother gave a long toast, praising their beautiful, successful family, and barely mentioned mine. His relatives dominated the dance floor and the microphone. The photographer was directed to take most group photos only with his side of the family. My parents stood quietly on the side, politely clapping, while I felt my chest tightening with every passing minute. I overheard one of James's aunts whisper loudly enough for me to hear, "They seem nice, but they don't really fit in with us, do they?" Another relative laughed softly in agreement. That moment broke me completely. I had ignored the small signs during our engagement, the subtle comments about my simple background, the way they always made my parents feel smaller. I had convinced myself that love would fix everything. But standing there in my wedding dress, watching my parents being erased from their own daughter's special day, I felt utterly destroyed inside. The pain was overwhelming. Tears burned in my eyes, but I held them back. Something inside me began to change. The hurt slowly turned into a quiet, burning strength. I realized I could no longer stay silent to keep the peace, not when the people who loved me the most were being humiliated in front of everyone. The DJ announced it was time for the couple's speech. James stood up first and gave a charming thank you speech, mostly praising his own family for their generosity and class. The crowd clapped enthusiastically. Then he handed me the microphone with a smile. I took it, my hands shaking slightly, but my voice came out clear and steady. The entire hall fell silent as 200 guests waited. I began softly. Today, I married the man I thought I loved, and I want to thank everyone who came to celebrate with us. I paused and looked straight at the head table where James's family sat comfortably. But there is something important I need to say. My parents didn't just raise me, they sacrificed everything so I could stand here today. They taught me kindness, hard work, and respect. Yet, on my wedding day, they were left standing in the corner while others took their place. That broke my heart more than anything. A wave of gasps spread through the room. James's face turned pale. His mother shifted uncomfortably in her seat. I continued, my voice growing stronger with every word. This is my wedding too, and my parents deserve to be honored, not hidden away. So right now, I'm asking James's family to please stand up and make space at this table for the two people who brought me into this world and loved me unconditionally. The silence was heavy. No one moved at first. James whispered my name urgently, trying to stop me, but I looked at him calmly and said, "This is important to me, James." Slowly, a few of his relatives stood up. Chairs were rearranged in front of everyone. My mom and dad were gently guided to the head table and seated right beside me. My father's eyes filled with tears as he sat down. My mother squeezed my hand tightly under the table and whispered, "Thank you, my girl." I looked out at the guests and finished with quiet power. Real family isn't about money or status, it's about love and respect. Today, I choose to stand for both. The applause that followed was genuine and loud. Many people stood up. Some wiped away tears. James sat there stunned, realizing that his family's actions had been publicly exposed. That single moment changed the entire evening. The energy in the room shifted completely. His family became much quieter. The spotlight finally felt balanced, and for the first time that night, my parents looked truly happy and seen. In the weeks that followed, things were difficult with James. He apologized, but the cracks in our relationship had become too deep. I made it very clear that I would never again allow anyone to humiliate or diminish my parents, or me. We tried counseling, but eventually I chose my peace and self-respect. Looking back today, I have no regrets. Sometimes the most powerful reaction isn't loud anger. It's finding the courage to speak the truth when the people you love are being erased. My parents taught me that real strength comes from love and dignity. On my wedding day, I finally showed them that I had learned their lesson well.
If you are watching this and you have ever felt that your family was being pushed aside or disrespected, remember this. Your voice has power. Your roots matter. Never be afraid to stand up for the love that truly built you. Because a perfect wedding means nothing if it costs you your dignity and the respect of those who sacrificed everything for you. Thank you for listening to my story. If it moved your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear that they are enough.